Welcome into Section 65, the official SEC football podcast of Garage Guys Fantasy Sports. I'm your host, Clay Keaton, alongside my partner and good friend, Tanner Colson. Week 3 of SEC football is coming up. Tropical Storm Delta will definitely impact some games this weekend. We're going to look at that, talk about some scores and some statistics from last week. Mac Jones, Tanner, is looking really good.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that.
Talk about that. A big game in the East this week between Tennessee and Georgia. Tennessee, with a win, sort of controls their own destiny. I'll get into a little bit about that. Hey, Tanner, the last time the Arkansas Razorbacks won an SEC football game, Kawhi was a Spur. Joe Burrow was at Ohio State. It was a long time ago. So we'll talk about that. It's going to be a great show. Got a lot of things to talk about. Look at our bets for this week. Vegas, a little rough on us this week, but we'll persevere. So, Tanner, let's get ready to roll.
Let's do it.
So, Tropical Storm Delta coming in, hitting. I think it hit today, or hit. Maybe it's kind of been hitting all week. But I was looking at how it was going to affect the games. Missouri and LSU have already moved their game to Columbia from Baton Rouge. Really sad down there. Louisiana is always getting just hit so hard by those storms. But I was looking at it's a 90% chance of rain for South Carolina, Vandy, 90% for Tennessee, Georgia, 90% for Auburn, Arkansas. 80% for Bama, Ole Miss, and 80% for Mississippi State and Kentucky. So the rain is going to be a huge factor.
If there's any unders you like, by the way, I'd probably recommend hopping on those right now before Vegas catches
unders. Wind. Yeah, the unders are going to look good. Going to be a lot of ground game this week, a lot of running the ball. So we'll see. But all those who will be impacted by the Tropical Storm Delta, will definitely keep them in our thoughts and prayers. But hopefully we can get through that college football wise, at least.
Yeah, hopefully it's one of those storms where it's supposed to be like the end of days and then it makes landfall and it's just like a tropical storm. But obviously thoughts and
and I think the media does tend to blow these storms up a little bit. No pun intended there, but
well, hey, you'd rather prepare for the worst and have it not be as bad,
true.
Right? But
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. So any listeners we got in Louisiana, including our guy Chase. We're thinking about
Chase.
Yeah. You stay safe down there, Chase.
Stay safe down there, Chase. There's already been enough trouble in Tiger Town.
This is the last thing they need. Can we talk about? Is there a bigger downgrade in playing a football game than moving from LSU, the temple of college football, to Missouri with that big dumb looking M in the end zone?
Yeah, that pile of rocks that they've assembled into the form of an M, that looks so stupid. And people go and sit on the rocks like they're comfortable.
Yeah, it's the only SEC stadium I can think of with like yard seating. Like it's like a country concert.
Yeah, it's really weird. That is a shame, but maybe they'll be a little drier up there. Did that affect the line? I mean, we need to maybe look at that.
Yeah, we should check. I haven't updated mine since yesterday, but I'd imagine that with the storm coming in or with changing home fields, but with COVID, I mean, how much of a difference does it really make,
Well, and I'm not to burst the Missouri Tigers bubble, or even, I don't even know if they have a bubble to burst, but they're not very good.
I wouldn't say
LSU should be fine. Although, LSU obviously is down in my opinion, but big win last weekend over Vandy, 41-7. Granted, it was Vandy who is terrible, but I expect LSU to win in Columbia with these. I don't know if it will remain a 3-touchdown line. I don't know if I would take that, but yeah, the home field thing. I mean, let's talk about it. I was in Neyland on Saturday.
Yeah, what was the vibe like in Neyland? How was everything? Is it?
Well, here's the thing, and people want to talk about, and I don't know if you noticed, but I mean, it looked like there were 60,000 people at Sanford Stadium. So I don't know how they did that. I'm going to be there this weekend, so I'll definitely be able to talk about it. Just got tickets today, but Neyland was great. I mean, it was definitely not the environment that it usually is. But it was good for what it was, and the best thing about it for me, my favorite part is, we had four people there with us, myself and some others, and the best thing about it, we had an entire row to ourselves. I mean, even behind us, nobody behind us. I had my feet on the bleacher in front of us, spreading out, spreading there, sitting there with my legs, sprawled out. I had a lot of room. Usually in Neyland, you're up
Yeah,
like that right
the
there.
yeah, that's not something I love the game day experience at SEC schools, but it seems like their goal is just to cram as many people as they can onto these like hot bleachers, and I could definitely see it being a nice little kind of a break from being shoulder to shoulder with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely nice. Definitely, obviously, nowhere near, didn't take long to get in the stadium. Didn't take long to hike to our seats or anything. The only thing that sucks is usually we're kind of around the 35-yard line over in Section B. We're in Section O now. The only
Ooh,
thing that sucks was
fun.
you kind of got to turn your head for the Jumbotron, but that's just me kind of being a spoiled brat. But, it was good. It was good. Tennessee played really well, looked really good, really ran the ball really well. Eric Gray had 3 touchdowns, looked really good. Jarrett Garantano still hasn't thrown it to the other team so far this year, so I think that's positive. Definitely still had some balls that sailed on him, but
Yeah, I'd
overall,
knock on
Tennessee
wood for that
pretty
one, but
good. Yeah, yeah. But Tennessee looked pretty good, and we'll see how. I mean, did you see in Florida today where Florida approved that the Dolphins can have 65,000 people? I mean, who knows what's about to happen?
yeah, I have no idea. It seems like, especially in the SEC, where it's mostly red states. I think it might be, I think they're going to probably just open the floodgates here pretty soon. I don't know that it'll be probably full capacity or anything like that, but like you said,
Yeah, I think
Georgia,
they said
Sanford
they're going to
Stadium,
start
they
out.
they look like they were
It
50,
looked
55%. Maybe it was just the way they kind of like spaced people out. Like for some reason, they grouped everyone together in different areas. I don't know, but I mean, they had a packed house. It looked like from TV.
Looked like it, and it's sad. I heard. I've been trying to get tickets all week. Fortunately, I was able to get some last or this morning. But I talked to some Auburn people, and they said, really sad. Auburn Georgia's a big rivalry, but they said a lot of those scalpers down there weren't even trying to sell to Auburn fans. They said Auburn fans would come up and try to buy tickets, and they would say, "No, we're not selling to you." They would literally go to whoever was behind them in this scalper line if they had a Georgia shirt on, and ask them if they wanted to buy them before they would sell them to the Auburn fans. So I mean, I don't know. I never realized that and maybe these scalpers have been instructed to do that. I don't know, and I don't really know who would instruct them to do that. If I was a scalper, I would want my money, and I wouldn't care who it was from.
Yeah, I think I take top dollar. I'm not in a scalping position in life, but I think I'm just looking for whoever will pay the most for the damn ticket.
Yeah, I just have never heard that, but I'm glad
Hey,
that I
that's
won't have
that's
to be able to
loyalty
deal
though.
with it.
I think Georgia's
Well, yeah, I mean,
they're
yeah,
they're
that's
they're pretty
loyalty.
fair weather down there, but that might be one of the most dedicated things I've heard from Georgia.
Oh well, they whatever. They're something. But it'll be a very interesting game. Cade Mays will be getting a start down there for Tennessee. A lot of people are talking about how, oh well, I'm worried about freaking Ricky from Cofield. I'm worried about they're gonna cut Cade Mays. They're gonna dive at his knees and all that. And I'm like, dude, realistically, do I think Georgia is a scumbag program? Yeah. Do I think they have a scumbag head coach? Yes. Do I think that their offensive line coach, Matt Luke, is a scumbag? No. Do I think that the players on that team are probably friends with Cade? Yeah. You don't. I mean, when you're a teammate, when you go through the things that these college football players go through together, whether you transfer or not, whether you leave, whether you quit, you're still friends with those guys. You go through enough to build a really unbreakable bond of camaraderie, and people don't realize that. But I don't expect to see anything like that in the Tennessee game. I expect to see, good hard-nosed football. I'm sure Cade will knock some guys down. I'm sure he'll get knocked down, and they'll probably help each other back up because they're friends. They want to get the best of each other, but in the long run, they are friends. They've been through a lot together, so I don't expect anything like that. And if that does happen, I will go straight to Kirby Smart because, I mean, I think that would be definitely something that he would do.
Oh yeah.
But, I like to kind of defend Matt Luke because I think he's such a high-quality, high-character guy, and I don't think that he would ever instruct his guys to do that. Now, granted, that's the offensive line coach. But but what I'm saying is Matt Luke will make sure that none of that's going on from the D line. So we'll see. But I don't expect anything like that. But it should be
Yeah, at the
very
end of the day,
interesting.
though, there's this guy that could go right over Matt Luke's head named Kirby Smart, and he will do anything he can to make the most toxic, sour environment humanly possible for players and former players.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
it'll definitely be interesting, but Tennessee looking good 2-0. I mean, I don't want to get too overblown here, but if they can somehow squeak this win out against Georgia, they kind of control their own destiny there until they play Florida, because after this, they've got Kentucky, Vandy, and then Florida. So if they can squeak this win out against Georgia,
who knows? Everything's on the table at that point. I mean, frankly, even if they were to not pull it out, I mean, it's you still get to play Bama, you still get to play Florida. There's a lot of rebound chances there, but I mean, just on that tangent though, I gotta say, I watched some of that Missouri Tennessee game, and that offensive line is looking mean, man. With Cade Mays, you got our guy Trey down there. On the interior, their offensive line was just bullying dudes. I mean, they were just ramming it right down Missouri's throat, and there was nothing they could do about it. It was pretty impressive. Ty Chandler's looking really good, leading the SEC in rushing right now, which, in preseason bingo, I would probably not have had that one on my list per se.
I agree.
I like Eric Gray a lot, but that's surprising, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely surprising. I was definitely intrigued and surprised to see that, but it's good. Tennessee's got two good running backs, and it should be a lot of runs. At least I hope on Saturday. I mean, I don't know what the weather will truly be, but
Claire,
I would love to see.
Are you ready to say it just yet, or are we going to wait a couple more weeks? Is it feeling a little like 99 to you, or are we not there just yet?
It's 98, not 99.
Oh shit! I was thinking of that Prince song. Party like it's 1999, right?
Yeah. No, but no, I don't think that. But I mean, I do think I'm very impressed, and this game will be very telling. I don't know. I just know that I think that our guys actually think that they can win this game, and they haven't thought that again in this game the last couple of years. So the fact that they think that they can win this game is a big deal, I think.
Hey man, optimism is one of the best and worst things you can have as a sports fan. I mean, Tennessee's on what the longest winning streak in football right now, right?
Yeah, and
I know it's overblown, but that's still a big deal. I mean, 8 in a row.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's great, but the teams that are on that list aren't very strong.
No.
But
we won't know for sure until they play Georgia State.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about Mac Jones. I mean, through 2 games, 684 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. I really am surprised.
Yeah, color me shocked.
What an offseason he must have had.
I thought Alabama was going to go back to the way they were before Tua came in, where they just would, throw some like 5th-year transfer guy in there to just kind of manage the offense. But I think it's a sign of the times, man. Even the SEC is kind of adopting more air raid passing, and I think back in 2010 when Nick Saban was kind of first starting his run, I think they were just defense and running, and they just needed a game manager. But now they got guys coming out looking explosive.
Yeah, very impressive so far. Alabama.
They absolutely shithoused A&M this weekend, by the way.
They covered. Good for them. Hey, A&M kept it close there in the first half, but good cover for Alabama. Had Alabama, so that's good. Bama plays Ole Miss on Saturday. That'll be interesting. Lane Kiffin.
Can we just talk about what the hell is going on with Jimbo Fisher? I mean, I know we expressed a little bit of concern last week, but this is not.
That reminds me. You bring up Jimbo Fisher, it just makes a little seminal thought go into my head, and a little you talking about the Tennessee National Championship. Bobby Bowden has COVID. Coach Bowden has COVID, so let's keep Coach Bowden in our thoughts and prayers, as he is definitely an older gentleman, longtime Florida State coach. But Bobby Bowden, best wishes to you. Anyway. Jimbo, yeah, I don't know. Jimbo, I hope they've thrown away all those rings and stuff that they bought a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that I mean, it's really just karma, I think, for crowning themselves right when they hired a guy. That's I mean, this was bound to happen. I don't know what's going on with Jimbo though. I'm a little worried about Jimbo because I feel like I fell for the same trick everyone else did. I don't know what's going on down there. I feel like A&M looks kind of like all the A&M teams beside, host Johnny Manziel that I've seen, where they're all right and they can kind of hang tough with decent teams, but they're just I mean, what happened against Bama was just inexcusable to me. They looked pretty bad after that first half.
Pretty bad. Let's talk about how awful Auburn looked as well. If we're going to get into the ugly and the bad, Auburn, maybe they didn't practice last week.
Didn't look like they did. They let me
I
down
was
bad.
all in. I bet on them. I thought that Auburn, that Georgia, and Georgia definitely a fluke that first game of Arkansas, that first Arkansas game, definitely a fluke.
Yeah, for sure. They look legit.
Good.
I hate to say it. I don't like giving Georgia credit, but they look damn good. That guy Stetson Bennett, who I got to be honest, we have an SEC show, and I didn't know much about the guy at all. I thought it was a JT Daniels, Jamie Newman conversation. Now they got this guy with a great quarterback name coming out of nowhere, lighting it up.
Yeah, very interesting. I was looking for JT Daniels to get in there last week, but he didn't. So looks like they're going to stick with Bennett. I mean, why not? If it isn't broke, don't fix it. But I don't know. We'll see on Saturday. Anything could happen.
Well, what happened to Bo Nix too, man? I don't know if Georgia's defense is just raw, but he looked a little lost out there to me. It wasn't the Bo Nix I was hoping to see.
Gus Malzahn was practicing his booms all week instead of practicing on the field and tweeting out stuff and worrying about what he was going to wear on the sidelines rather than worried about the game, because they looked absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
If there's one team that I'm not worried about after watching on Saturday, and it's so great because Auburn is either really good or they're kind of not good. Yeah. So I think that Auburn's kind of on that bottom tier of the SEC West, and especially after the way they looked and how badly beaten they got beaten by Georgia. But I'm not worried about Auburn anymore, and it's a very comforting feeling. Obviously I'm sure they'll get some of their shit together, but some things you just can't really – I mean, that line play, some of their line play on both sides of the ball
just looks sketchy. Yeah. I mean, I know they lost what's his name? Derek. What was his last name? In the draft. Derek Brown, that's what it was. But I know they lost Derek Brown, but it's not like Auburn's not recruiting well. They always have good players, but I think you're onto something where I think Malzahn spent all week trying to figure out the best possible vest glasses combo that he could wear this weekend instead of drawn up game plans.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyways, let's go to another noon game. My boys, South Carolina, covered the spread against Florida. That was one of my big bets last week. That Kyle Trask to Kyle Pitts combo is I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it. I mean, it's like Tim Tebow and Aaron Hernandez all over again. It's like they're back in the mix. But
yeah.
I mean, that guy, he doesn't even look like a tight end. He looks like a wide receiver out there. I mean, he's the best athlete on the field.
And he's excellent.
He's
excellent.
Unbelievable. I think that they heard all of the shit talking going on Twitter for the last year about guys named Kyle and how they all drink Monster, and they're just on an absolute revenge tour right now. They're showing out for Kyles everywhere.
Yeah, I actually think I've never met – I don't know a Kyle that I've ever met that wasn't kind of a weirdo. I'll take that back. I had a friend, Kyle, in college who made some really good things back in the day. But Kyle Trask from Texas, his parents both went to Texas A&M. He is named after Kyle Field. He will be getting the start in Aggieland in front of probably his entire family on Saturday. So, I mean –
was that in doubt? Were we worried that he was getting benched this week?
Well, no, but I'm saying, I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, he's starting at Kyle Field, the stadium that he's named after, the stadium where he grew up cheering for the Aggies. He's just starting against them, so it's just a big deal, I think.
Yeah, I'm feeling a revenge game coming for Kyle Trask for
Kyle's emotional game. Yeah, very emotional game. It could be, but
just one more thing on the South Carolina game, by the way. As a fan, man, I don't know what to do anymore, man. I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling a little confused. It feels like for the last 3 years, we're always kind of close, but we're just not. Where, we play some tight games. We never really blow anyone out. We never really get blown out too bad. We covered, but it looked kind of like a classic Muschamp game. Like in between the 20s, we can't stop anybody. Then we kind of stiffen up in the red zone a little bit. And then the clock management is just bad. The penalties are bad. And I think that Muschamp in the back of his head knows that if he can't win the game, he might as well just make sure that they cover the spread, because that last drive of the game was so slow. Like realistically, a confident team would feel like they were in that game, and we just turned clock and just took as long as humanly possible. I think we ended up with a scoring chance with a minute left to go down by like 7-6, and we were just absolutely limping our way down the field. So to me, I think Muschamp covered and he coasted, man. Just a classic Muschamp game. I don't know where we go from here, but Colin Hill looked all right. It looked like we could run the ball, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more heartbreaking losses this season that are just rookie looking mistakes. I don't know how much more of it I can handle, but good for them to cover at least. They made me a little bit of money, but yeah, I don't know moving forward what South Carolina is going to do. Another game we got that I bet on was Ole Miss against Kentucky, and I am so pissed. First off, yeah, a round of applause.
Big Blue loser. Mark Stoops is the loser of the century. Unbelievable. Go ahead and let's just talk about it.
Just an absolute choke job again by a guy that I respect is Mark Stoops. I think he's a good coach, but Lane Kiffin took it to him, man. Lane, good for Lane.
Yeah. Thank you, Lane. Thank you. The most Kentucky of Kentucky games I've ever seen. Running in, has a breakaway, puts up a peace sign, gets tackled, they get stuffed. Unbelievable. By Ole Miss. Congratulations to Lane Kiffin.
So running back, Asim Rose, I think is his name. Sorry if I mispronounced that, Asim, but I'm pretty mad at this guy because
he's off the field for the rest of the year.
He cost me my bet this week. I had Kentucky -6, maybe 6.5 against Ole Miss, and they ended up losing by 1. And this guy, Asim Rose, a senior actually, so you would think he would be probably above making mistakes like this, but I guess he's probably been behind Benny Snell the last few years. But so this man breaks it out in the open field. He's looking good. He's got everybody beat. And then he pulls the classic Sammy Watkins, and he celebrates, does the Tyreek Hill peace sign, and gets caught. And then 2 plays later, fumbles it right on the 1-yard line. So that just took 7 points off for Kentucky.
Loved it. Beautiful. Loved it for Big Blue Nation.
1 touchdown.
Yeah, loved it for Big Blue Nation. Loved it for Mark Stoops. Loved it for Matt Jones, Kentucky Sports Radio. I loved it. But here's the problem. Here's the only issue. And this actually has a big impact on me. Kentucky's 0-2. Kentucky's 0-2. Everybody expected them to be 2-0. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not 2-0, but at least 1-1 with that Auburn game. Well,
Yeah.
it really screwed Tennessee because now Kentucky-Tennessee next week is at noon.
Yep. Yeah, that's not great. No one likes a noon.
Nobody wants Kentucky. Nobody wants Kentucky in that 4 o'clock slot. I thought we were going to have a good Eastern showdown, but Kentucky sucks. It's like I said, nobody bought into the baby back Kentucky Big Blue Nation bullshit. Not on this show, buddy. Not this year.
Not this year, bud. But yeah, I mean,
Kentucky should go hang out with Oklahoma and Texas. That's what they should do.
Well, I think what happened is I'll admit to this too. I kind of thought of Kentucky, even though they lost, kind of all their good players over the last few years. I like the coaching, but I forget that their recruiting is not really on par with a lot of the rest of the SEC. They're kind of in the bottom rankings. So, they lose a guy like
Maybe
Ben
Mark
Snell
Stoops.
and Josh Allen, and they got nothing, man. I don't know.
Maybe
who they
Mark
got. They got
Stoops
Kavosier Smoke, I guess. He's pretty good.
Mark Stoops needs to call John Calipari and say, look, what do you do? How do I do it? And John's going to look at him and say, you'll never be able to do what I do, so just keep doing what you're doing. But, nice to see Kentucky looking like Kentucky. So,
yeah, good for Lane. I'm on the Lane train again.
I'm always on the Lane train. I'm always on the Lane train.
But you look good.
Lane had a funny quote today, something about Alabama football, something about he wishes that they were the team that he played when he was Tennessee's coach. Took a little shot.
Yeah, I love the guy. He's a soundbite machine. I mean, I don't even know if Lane is as interesting as we all make him out to be. I can't even confirm that. I just love the guy. There's just something to him. He's got like an aura about him where I feel like I think of him as this like outspoken guy, but really he's just kind of a guy. But
yeah, I think so. I think he definitely was a little
the mystique.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like seeing Lane win. Arkansas, Mississippi State.
What the hell was that?
I'm an O-line guy. I'm a Sam Pittman guy. I'm glad to see Arkansas win, but I was on the Mike Leach. I was ready for it.
I'm very sad for my guy Mike Leach right now. I owe everyone
Do
an
you think we
apology.
jumped the gun? Did we jump the gun? Is
I don't.
LSU just shitty? LSU might just be shitty.
Yeah, I don't know if we jumped the gun, but it certainly doesn't look like they're going to arrive when we thought they would. I bought in. I love Mike Leach. I love the guy, and they kind of just went out there and they laid an egg. And a big part of that, I would say, by the way, is our guy Bumper Pool, linebacker for Arkansas.
Pool.
Bumper Pool,
Knocking
baby.
heads there.
He was out there flying around the field, making all sorts of plays. I think he had an interception.
I saw his name all over Twitter this weekend.
All over it. I think he used to be kind of a well-kept secret, I think, because he played at Arkansas, but now everyone's kind of hopping on the bandwagon. But let it be known, we've been a Bumper Pool podcast since week one. I mean, we've
been on the pool. Hey, jump in because the pool's getting full.
I like that. I like that.
That was pretty stupid, but
yeah. Maybe I'll cut that. We'll see.
Me and my dad have been, sorry, not me and my dad. I've been talking to Beach, and I've actually been telling a lot of dad jokes this week. I heard one on the radio. It said two kids in Knoxville. They were got arrested. One was eating battery acid. The other was eating fireworks. Really weird story. The authorities they charged one and they let the other one off. Beach and I were just kind of talking about that. Just some, I know.
So for Arkansas, this was a big win for their program, man. Especially over the Mississippi State team that was probably a little bit overestimated after that Week 1 win. But like you said, this is their first SEC win since October 2017. So
Burrow was at Ohio State. Kawhi was a Spur. I think Mahomes was.
He was just like a seed in his dad's testicle at that point.
Yeah, but good for Arkansas. Good for Coach Pittman. Getting his first SEC win.
Also, their first ranked win since 2016. So it's been even longer since they beat a ranked opponent.
Well, I mean, Mississippi State shouldn't have been ranked. Mississippi State is not ranked. They're not going to be ranked for the rest of the season. But, obviously that win over LSU will get you ranked. But hopefully Mike Leach can be what we want him to be. I think you're right. I don't think they've arrived yet, but I think they're coming.
Yeah, I'm not ready to throw them in the trash. KJ Costello had kind of a rough game. He threw those 3 interceptions, but the offense was still moving. I think, I'm gonna definitely hold my stocks on Mississippi State. I'm not ready to totally count them out just yet, but I don't know that they're giving Bama any problems for probably another few years at least.
No, I don't think so either.
So let's hop in over to the betting section, which I don't know if the listeners are aware of this, but me and you are on fire right now, bud. What's your record? You're 4-2?
We're doing okay. Yeah, we're doing okay. I wish I would have taken Tennessee last weekend.
Yeah, that it's always tough to kind of bet on your home team, but especially in the second game of the year when you don't always know kind of what it's going to look like out there. But 4-2 is nothing to scoff at, man. That's winning gambling right there. Hopefully we can keep it going this week, but Clay, I got to tell you, man, I think
it's not looking good for this week, man.
I think Vegas is catching up to us, dude. I felt like I knew what the teams were going to look like before Vegas this year. A little bit, like I kind of looked at those first 2 weeks and it felt like the board just spoke to me. I had no choice but to bet the teams I did. This week, though, I mean, Vegas they're figuring the lines out, man. We know a little more, and so does Vegas. But I
mean, I think we can look at some over-unders this week, especially because of the weather. Mississippi State over-under, Kentucky 58.5. I like that under. But I don't know. There's not many great bets for us this weekend. I'm gonna take Tennessee plus 12.5. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it. Why not? I think Tennessee might win. I think Tennessee actually very well could win. So
ride the hot hand.
Yeah, I mean they're playing great. They look great. They're gonna be prepared. But not many other games. I think Bama, Ole Miss. Maybe Bama minus 23. I don't know. You were talking about Ole Miss. I just usually like taking Bama to cover, especially against teams like that. But Kiffin, we're talking about Kiffin here.
Yeah, I don't know that Nick Saban's going to really run it up too hard on Ole Miss if he's got any respect for Lane. I could see him probably getting up nice lead and then maybe allowing a backdoor cover. It was all.
Nah, I don't know if I'm with you there. I really don't. I don't know. I'll tell you the one bet that we both should be together on, though, and I think we're both taking it. For the third week in a row, I hate to say it, I'll be taking the Florida Gators to cover. They burned me last week, barely. Gamecocks covered, but Florida minus 6.5 at Texas A&M. I'll take that. Kyle Trask, looking for him to have the game of his life in front of his family and friends. Grew up huge Aggie fan, so hopefully he'll have, and I think Kyle Trask is a good guy. He's a Gator, so I wish him the best. I'm not saying I wish him the best because he's a Gator. I'm saying it's surprising that I'm wishing him the best because he's a Gator, but circumstantially, him going home and playing this game, it probably means a lot to him. Going to be an emotional game for him, so I hope he does well.
Yeah, I definitely miss when my guy.
And I'm going to bet on the Gators.
Was quarterbacking for the Gators because I just love to hate the Gators quarterback. Felipe was so hateable for so long, and now I just don't see anything to not like about Kyle Trask. I like the guy.
Has Felipe Franks, is he Arkansas starter? Have we even talked about this? I don't even know. But is he their quarterback? Is he the one? Is Felipe Arkansas's quarterback?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who else they got. Yeah. I mean, all signs are pointing to Felipe Franks. Yeah. He played. It's Felipe Franks' team. So only downside to Arkansas winning, but I think bumper pool kind of evens it out for me. So Arkansas is kind of a net neutral for me.
Yeah, I'm on the bumper train as well. I'm in the pool, so I don't know. I was kind of looking at South Carolina Vandy. It's going to be pouring rain. I expect that game. I mean, I think that game could be like 6-3 or something stupid like that.
If I'm a pretty realistic Gamecock fan, I like to think, and I almost took Vandy, to be honest with you, man. I don't think they're any good, and I think South Carolina's better and would win, but I just don't know that I could ever in good conscience vote for South Carolina as a 13-point favorite. Like, put money on them as a 13-point favorite. I could see them winning this game by like a point.
No, so I'll go Tennessee 12.5, Florida minus 6.5, and Bama. I'll take Bama minus 23. I was gonna take Auburn, but Auburn really did me dirty last week, and maybe Arkansas's got more to prove. Their defense looked really good, so I'm gonna take Alabama to cover.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust that guy Gus Malzahn, man. He's a
weasel.
He just doesn't look like a football guy. He looks kind of like a nerd,
Look at him, and I just don't like him. I just want him to lose. I want him to lose, especially after he wore that freaking ridiculous outfit. I'm sorry if it was a tribute to somebody. I don't know. I need to be more informed, but it looked ridiculous. Wear a freaking pullover and a visor, Gus. Don't be a weirdo.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see what sweater vest he pulls out next week. So for my big three this week, my bets, I'm going to match you. I'm taking Florida minus 6.5.
Okay.
I'm going to trust my guy, Mike Leach. I know they disappointed me last week, but I didn't bet on them, so it's all right. But I like Mississippi State +2. I think Kentucky.
Oh, man, I will love nothing more than to see Kentucky start out 0-3.
I think, I think, they like I said, I just don't think they can reload. I think they look a little out of sorts right now. They lost some really good players these last few years. And I think Mike Leach is probably going to be looking for some revenge. And then I'm going to take Mizzou +21 against LSU also because I don't know what the weather's going to be like there, but I'm not sure that LSU is in that 21-point favorite conversation over anyone but Vandy. So I'm just going to take the points on that one and hope that works out.
All right. Well, that's not terrible picks there. Starting next week, we're going to have former Tennessee offensive lineman, one of my good buddies, Jack Jones. He's living out in Vegas now. We're going to have him start calling in, add him to our betting segment. A little live from Vegas. Jack live in Vegas should be a nice little segment for us. Very funny guy.
Vegas insider.
Yeah, Vegas insider Jack Jones. So he will join us starting next week. Should be very exciting. Something that the people will definitely be excited about, especially Vol Nation. So that'll be good. but yeah, Tanner, I think that we're good on Florida. Tennessee will be questionable for me. We'll see. I think there's a chance that they could either win that game, or I think it might be maybe like 31-17 Georgia.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Alabama, I'm just putting my faith in them. And hey, I hope you're right with that Mississippi State bet. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm not ready to sell all my stocks just yet. In Mike Leach, I love the guy. The man, he's gonna be coaching everyone up on the art of war or whatever that class he used to teach at Washington State was. He's got the right mindset, I think. Anyways, in some other news around the college football landscape, what the hell is going on with the Big 12, man? What are they?
I don't know. It's like, I'm like Oklahoma, Texas. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, this isn't like I don't know. I honestly haven't watched enough to know because I just keep seeing teams lose to shitty teams, and I'm like, I'm not wasting my time even putting that on.
No, I think the gap in conferences is just getting wider and wider every year. Maybe it's just because everyone
we should look.
Yeah, it's just because I feel like the SEC everyone kind of knows that it's the place to be a little bit, and then in the ACC you just go to Clemson, and then in the Big Ten you go to like 2 or 3 schools there. But
I think Ohio State is the king, and then I think Penn State and Michigan are the princes. Maybe Wisconsin and Michigan State as well.
And then Wisconsin's kind of like the fun little brother who's a little scrappy.
Yeah, and Minnesota had a good year last year. I don't know what they've got this year. But, yeah, I don't understand what's going on in the Big 12. Something that we should look at, I think an interesting stat, I wonder what the viewership is on these games. What's the viewership difference between – because, the SEC, that SEC game on CBS, it had more views. It's college football is not helping the NBA Finals one bit. Let me tell you that. Because I don't even know.
I don't think anything is, man.
And even the Major League Baseball playoffs either, because I think people are so bought into this time period and wanting football and baseball to be the 2 things that we're focused on. That's what we're used to, and basketball is just kind of in the way, in my opinion. It's sad. I want LeBron to get another ring. And I'm watching the games, but I'm so thinking about I'm sitting there watching the game last night thinking about how I'm going to get to Georgia and what the lines are for the games this week. I'm not worried about – because, realistically, the King's going to get another ring.
I'll probably tune in to watch him accept the trophy, but outside of that, I don't really have much interest in if
when it's sad though, isn't it? Because usually we're watching the NBA Finals. Are we? Are we not? I'm usually locked into the NBA Finals.
I'm kind of having like sensory overload almost. I got so many sports coming from every which way. I'm shelling my money out. I'm betting on everything, and I'm watching nothing. It feels like it feels like I'm pretty much watching football, but I got money hanging around all over the place. I got bets on baseball. I got bets on the NBA. I got but it's football season. All I can do is watch.
Right.
Football. We got Mactions coming back this week, so there goes my weeknights. I'm not going to watch playoff baseball, I'm going to probably watch University of Buffalo play Miami of Ohio and brawl on a Wednesday night.
And bet on it.
Yeah. It's just, to me, it's just such a dominant sport. We got golf going on. We got the WNBA finals, which, 8 or 9 people care about probably.
I think the Seattle, whatever they are, won last night. Congratulations.
Yeah, Seattle did win last night. Good job to the Seattle Storm. If you need help getting home, just Venmo request me. I'll help pay for your Ubers.
Jesus.
The Big 12 it's just a pretenders conference. I don't know how you recruit at the level of like an Oklahoma and a Texas, and you just can't play defense. I don't know how that works. Is it just the spread thing going on or what? But it's looking like we're just going to have another year of the SEC and Clemson and Ohio State. I don't see this going any other way.
Well, and that's what we're used to. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I like seeing Oklahoma in there, but they just don't have it what they've had the last couple of years anymore. So, I think and we're probably going to have maybe 2 SEC teams in there and Clemson and Ohio State.
And recent national champions UCF just lost the other day too, so they're out of the conversation.
None of that UCF bullshit on this show.
they claimed it.
I can't stand that. I will actually go up to if I've seen maybe 3 UCF fans in my life, and I've asked all 3 of them, is that real? Is that real?
How many of Bama's are real? I'm pretty sure they retroactively went back to like the 30s and were like, yeah, we'll take
Bama
that
definitely. Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you.
Bama has we'll take that.
Yeah, no, Bama definitely has some questionable ones, but come on, UCF.
I'll ride UCF as the champions until the day I die, I think. Wait, was that the year Clemson won or Alabama? If it was Clemson, UCF was my national champion. I can't remember. Yeah, and then in some other news, there is a massive COVID outbreak in your home state of Tennessee right now in the NFL. Can we just talk about the fact that college football teams, the NFL is kind of like on hold right now. No one knows what the hell they're doing.
Are the Titans in trouble?
Yeah, I have no clue. I think the game.
I've been reading stuff on Twitter about people calling for the Titan season to be canceled.
Oh yeah, well I don't know that it'll probably be that extreme, but I'm thinking they're gonna have the hammer dropped on them. But it just reminds me how happy I am to have an SEC pod right now, because college football teams have been having like outbreaks all year. Like there's been
down with the Titans.
Like we've got college football teams are dressing like freshmen and doing all sorts of weird stuff because they're having half their team out with COVID. And in the NFL, 6 tests and the whole season stopped. But I mean, college football, as always, it finds a way, man. It's just going to keep chugging along, especially the SEC. I don't think anything's stopping it, man. They got 100 players on their roster. I don't
either. I was really worried, and I'm not anymore. I think we're gonna end up finishing the season. I really do.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. If someone goes up to Greg Sankey and says, "Hey, Greg, I got my whole offensive lines out," he's gonna say, "Sorry, bud. You got Georgia coming to town this week. Find someone, man." And they'll just play it through. We don't know. Whatever keeps me getting football, I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we don't know what will happen if that does happen, but I don't know. I think that the teams are doing good. I think that that everything's going as smooth as it can. But it'll be interesting to be at another stadium this week. It'll be very interesting, especially Georgia. Georgia's a little smaller. And from what it looked like, Georgia's claiming that there was 20,000 people in the stands last game. I don't know if there's like some underground code or something that these Georgia fans are just keeping it under the radar that there was actually 50,000. But, it looked packed. And it was loud. Yeah, Tennessee was pumping in crowd noise, but and it was decently loud. You could probably hear a little crowd on the TV. But Georgia was like – I was like, okay, like are they – is this – this looks kind of packed.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't get to watch too much of the game. I watched a little bit of it, but I saw some pictures floating around on Twitter and things. I don't know if they're from like an old game, but I'm pretty sure they're at least claiming to be from this week, and it's literally just a completely full section of fans with no masks on. Which it's not my job to tell people how to live their lives. Whatever is allowed, I guess, do it. But there's something going on down there, so I'm excited to have a man on the inside next week at Samford.
Yeah. I think that Georgia is breaking the rules and that karma is coming for Kirby.
I think this might be
guess the week. What?
This might be the time.
Karma might be wearing orange.
karma might be dressed as COVID.
There's a storm coming, Kirby, and I'm not talking about Hurricane Delta. No, it'll be interesting, but I don't know. We'll see. I know I got good seats, so we'll see.
Should be a hell of a game, though. I'm excited. We got a big week of college football coming up. Another big week, I guess I should say. This all SEC schedule is awesome.
Brutal. I love it.
You got decent teams that are 0-2, probably going to start off the year like 0-4, and they're realistically probably a top 30, 35 team in the country, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, this has been great. I love it. I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out. We're going to have to revisit some of our preseason predictions in a pod coming up. But, yeah, if you like the show, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave us a nice review. If you don't like the show, I'm sure there's other podcasts out there that might tickle your fancy, maybe like an ACC podcast or a Big 12 podcast. But, yeah, we don't need to hear from you. Yeah, if you like what we're doing, like I said, be sure to like and subscribe, leave reviews. We're going to be checking out next week. We're going to be doing the same deal as this week. We're going to be going over the games, looking at our bets. And this is Tanner and with my guy Clay, and we're signing off for Section 65. Thanks for listening.
Vols dogs to control their own destiny in Athens. Go Vols.
Go Vols. And if there's a week to not tail me, by the way, let me just say this: it might be this week. The board. I know I've been telling people to follow me, but the board. I've been seeing the board so clear, and this week it's a little murky. I'm gonna have to work a little harder for my wins this week.
Hey, man, put the work in. You'll get what you deserve.
Well, all I'm saying is, if you had half,
You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot as a Gamecock.
it's not easy out here, man. The least I can do is make some money off my squad. So I gotta thank Will Muschamp for that. He almost gave me hope we could win it, and then, in classic fashion, I was heartbroken. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Section 65 signing.